Steven says there's so many nice and pretty women at my job. Hmm. I talk to a lot of them and just act like myself. Good. But today I was getting these negative thoughts about myself and feeling hopeless somewhat. I guess that is a transient thought. Yeah, of course. Every one of us can get transient thoughts and a lot more. Intrusive thoughts, transient thoughts, especially when there's some stress, especially when you, you know, we always are comparing ourselves with the others. And then if transient thoughts, you can't get rid of them, it's because sometimes the messages, the electrical impulses, pulses, messages, is going back and forth between the parts of our brain, frontal cortex and amygdala and all that. They don't receive the response back. So when they make a suggestion, intrusive thoughts or transient thoughts, and your center, based on what the proper response for you is, responds to it, that signal doesn't get to where the question or where the thought had appeared, the intrusive thoughts. And because it doesn't, the intrusive thoughts constantly continues questioning or bringing that thought up on the screen. And you keep responding and you wonder, why is it there? Does that mean that because it's not going away, then that thought represents me and it's something about me? No, it's because it's alert and the response to that alert is not getting there. So the communication is severed. That's a problem that millions and millions of us have. That is like a short circuit, and that's in OCD, and it could come in many different ways, and it's got nothing to do with who you are, how you are, and what the reality and factuality and actuality is. It's just a malfunction of the signaling system in the brain, and because it keeps looping, you tend to think that's your thought. Never a thought is yours. It's a thought. It's not your thought. Thought is not you. You are not thought. But you're supposed to judge whatever thought shows up. And when you know it's nonsense, you're supposed to pass by and focus on your day, on your other things. But because there's a malfunction in the signal and it doesn't stop when you've already responded, then you kind of get really bothered and confused. Why? Does it have something to do with me? It's just like if a friend of yours says, maybe a ways back, or it's just says, do you want tea or coffee? And he says, no, thank you. And then he's hard in hearing. He says, do you want tea or coffee? You say, no, thank you. Then he doesn't hear. He says, do you want tea or coffee? You say, no, thank you. And he keeps saying because he doesn't hear your answer. Whether you say it verbally or signaling in your brain, that signal doesn't get to that deaf friend, or the friend is so far, so much statics, that it can't hear you. The same thing in the brain. The signals of you refuting, refusing, disagreeing of whatever popped up in the head by transient thoughts, whatever suggestion, whatever danger that is alerting you off, you responded to it telepathically by signal, but doesn't get there. So it's repeated constantly. And when it's repeated constantly, you think, well, that means what? That means that suggestion, that thought is actually true because it doesn't go away. No, it's because there's a malfunction. That's why. Don't don't doubt yourself. Just simply understand that there's a malfunction there. It's not that, for example, many heterosexuals get intrusive thoughts pop into their head that they're gay, or they have interest in men, or some images constantly show up that to them is totally disgusting because they're not interested in that, but it doesn't stop. And they think, oh, because it doesn't stop, that means what? Am I homosexual? No, because the signal is not getting back. It's an OCD problem. And that if you look at the scan that they have done of the OCD of the scan of the brain, when it's not in the OCD mode, it's healthy. It shows there's no activities, all blue on top side and a few red parts that is functioning normally. But at the OCD mode, when they get into the OCD, same brain, it's got all red activity, it's overactive because the signal doesn't go through and keeps going back and forth. And that shows you that is a malfunction, that these intrusive thoughts coming. It's not because your sexuality is in question. And it could be the other way around too, vice versa. If you're heterosexual, you might think you're gay. If you're gay, you might think you're heterosexual. And these are against your nature, and then you become upset, become confused, become wondering, what is it? You have to understand, whatever thought is that is not representation of you, you're not your thought. Thought is not you. You judge a thought that shows up because you are different than the thought. Separate yourself from the thought. So thought did not give you your gender, and thought cannot take your gender. Your gender has been in your gene, set in stone when you were born. Whatever it is, whatever thought comes to your mind, intrusive thought, transient thoughts, suggestions, that's not going to work. But you got to understand why it doesn't shut off. That thought is because of the malfunction of the signaling system between the frontal cortex and so on. So you will be relaxed, that you are who you are, whatever your gender is, whatever has been, whatever you're interested in, that's what it is, and no deviation can ever happen just because the thoughts show up. You're not your thoughts, and thoughts don't represent you. They're a tool. You have the capability of thinking, and then when there is a malfunction, thoughts pop up, which we have talked about, transient thoughts, intrusive thoughts in other videos. You can watch those, and other videos that talks about HOCD and so on, also there for your. And also, if you go on my site, I have a book called Transient Thoughts that it talks pretty much about transient thoughts and so on, that might be helpful to you to clear this up for you. All right. So we have Hamzi says, he says, your thoughts on an amazing gym body for life. What do you mean? What's the question? It says, do you want my thoughts on an amazing gym body for life? Hamza says, worth it? Is it worth it, or should I quit? I see what you're saying. Well, give me the question in a more sentence so I can really understand. And Hamza is giving us a 33. I think it's NOK. Is it? What is it? It's money from Sweden. NOK. Well, thank you very much for that. Appreciate the super chat. But I need that question, if you will, so I can answer it for you. And Steven says transient thoughts, and then Olin says, I will definitely re-watch the beginning of this chat. Okay, good. And Emmanuel says, what does the third eye mean to you, and how important it is as a mind lover like you? Okay, I'll come back to that. Let me answer Hamzi. And Stephen says, that's exactly how my thought was. It wasn't go away. It wouldn't go away. Kind of got me down for a little while. But I began to focus on work, and it went away eventually. Yeah. Hamzi says, Stephen says, It was more of a doubtful thought, thinking I'm not good enough, and why would these girls want me? I was asking myself why I'm thinking this, because I know it's not true. Yeah, that's exactly one of the kinds of the intrusive thoughts and OCD thoughts. The signal wasn't getting through. And Hamzi says, is making the gym a part of my life worth it in terms of getting successful with girls? Aha. I'm obsessed with looks. Aha. Well, girls don't necessarily choose us the way we mostly choose them. For example, most of us men are impressed with the girl's look, and when she's good looking, then we think she's also smart, she's also wonderful, she's also unselfish, she's also accommodating, she's also a ladylike, she's also a mother type, she's also a wife material, she's also every good thing that we can think of, we'll give it to her in our mind without even knowing her, just because she's pretty. Why? Because we're programmed to love, cherish, worship sexuality of the woman. And that desire is so strong that in order to, we're so impressed that we give every possible good characteristics that we can think of to that woman that triggers our desire. Intimacy, for intimacy and sexuality and so on. But the girls don't choose us that way. They're not looking at you and then giving you all the good qualities just because you look good, maybe for a bit. But they're looking for a lot more than that. They're looking for certainty. They're looking for ability to provide. They're looking for accountability. They're looking for ability to build, to have things in common. If they can be compatible, they're looking for a lot more than just the look and physical body. Because if that was the case, first of all, it's very good that you go to the gym. If you train well and you're methodical with it and patient and don't overdo it, you will have a fit body and healthy, and it's good for health and so on. But if gym was the only thing that the girls were looking for, then why is it that even people who are very fit and good looking, and then they find a pretty girl or any girl that they seem to like each other, and then they break up eventually too? They have the good body. Why? How about this? Why actors and actresses? A good-looking actor, male, and good-looking actresses, female. They're all both good-looking and so on. So why is it that they get together and they get married and they divorce? So it's not the looks and it's not the body that keeps a relationship together. It's the quality and compatibility and bonding on consciousness level and everything else that is really making it or not making it. So the fact that you go to the gym and you train and you keep yourself in good shape is good. It's a bonus because girls like that. But if that's all you've got to offer, they will eventually grow out of it. Just like if you choose a girl who's really pretty and sexy and all that, and you go crazy for her for a while, but after a while when you guys are not compatible and she's selfish or she's just it's not a ladylike or the kind that you expect, and you're not hitting it off, eventually you may hang around because she's really pretty and sexy and all that, but eventually say the hell with it. I can't have a relationship based on sex. And just because this girl is sexy doesn't make her smart or good person to the standards that you're expecting either. So then you eventually give up. So you gotta have a balance. Go to the gym for fitness and also be able to build your life and your character and whatever you think that it is that you expect from yourself, and then approach and build a relationship based on commonalities that you might have, your manners and attitude, and don't expect just because you've got a fit body going to the gym, the girl would be there no matter what. No, you still have to have manners, proper manner and proper understanding, and bond it properly and so on. So bring that balance, and then the girls will find you. but think that you're like girls just gotta have a pretty body, then they're gonna say, what else? Because right now it's dime a dozen. Almost every guys go to the gym, they have fit body. And almost every girl go to the gym, they all have fit body. And girls do a lot more to whatever it is that they can, do to their body or face, and they look gorgeous, right? They all look gorgeous. But that is not good enough to have a good relationship with, is it? So you got to bring that balance, Hamzi. All right? So focus on your life, build your life, your character, who you should be, who you want to be, what makes you feel comfortable, and what makes you capable, and endow yourself with knowledge and abilities, and then you have the certain confidence that is beyond just having a fit body because you go to the gym. And then you will feel confident to talk to women. Not that, okay, I'm here, I'm pretty boy, I have a good body now. What? They're not, that doesn't have much of a value. It's like, okay, I look good. What else? They can't have a relationship with the good looks. What else? What do you do? What is your manner? How do you treat each other? How unselfish you are? How you guys are compatible? How are you guys going to help and support each other in life? These are all things that is a question to them, and also should be something that you would expect from them. You're expecting a girl to be pretty, that's okay, good, but you can't build a life on pretty. Can't have a relationship with pretty. So what? So relationships are always made and broken up in the consciousness. So figure that out. All right. And Steven says, just gave the video a like. Thank you for that. And Hamza says, great advice. Thanks, you're welcome. Steven says, I'll be retaking that exam again soon. Aha. Once I get that out of the way, I'll be reading your books. Okay. Good. Maybe before I'm 80 years old. Steven says, there's a couple of registered nurses at my job. They're so beautiful and joke around with them during the day. Oh, wonderful. It's like spending some time with flowers. When women are beautiful and take care of themselves, and they're pleasant in manners, and, just lovely. And I'm glad that you're enjoying that. And he says, I think that's where the thought came, since I find them so attractive. Yeah, whenever you find someone, you find the girl or the woman that you think, and you're infatuated with her, or then suddenly the fear comes. What if I can't get her? Every time that you're happy about something that you are, then the fear of losing it starts attacking you. That's the negative thoughts, negative mind. Transient thoughts, intrusive thoughts. The job of the mind is to try to come up with all these fears to keep you alert and strong to survive. But then when it's got a malfunction and the signal doesn't go away, it becomes spooky and it bothers the hell out of you. Hamzi says, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your careers? Hamzi, I have said that many times in this channel. If you go on my channel and just on search engine say about Mehran or yourself, just the word yourself, I think I've explained that in a few different ones. It's going to be a lengthy one. And I don't think really that many people want to hear about my background, but I have that video in case you're interested, Hamzi. Thank you for asking, but there's not much really here other than, well, maybe there is. But it's too long to bore everyone with it. But I have that because this question has been asked several times, and I did respond, and it's, number of minutes, so let me see if I can find it for you guys. Steven says exactly how I felt. Yeah, that's how negative thought works. Nullify it. Zadkil says 26, male from Sweden. Hello, Zadkil. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. I don't know if that's your screen name or name. and says, Sweden here, I loved what you said about intrusive thoughts not being our thoughts. Well, of course not. I have a bunch of number of videos recently about intrusive thoughts, transient thoughts, HOCD. So you can just search and put in HOCD or transient thoughts or intrusive thoughts or just the word thoughts, and you will see a bunch of them there. And they were all in this month or maybe last month. So you can look for the previous, I don't know, 30, 40 videos, and you will find them. And Zadkill says, but will there ever be a time when these intrusive thoughts will simply stop? Will the malfunction correct itself or not? Yeah, it does. It could come back, but every time that it comes back, so when you realize and remember that this is a malfunction, this has got nothing to do with you. These are thoughts, and they're not your thoughts. They're just thoughts. And if you understand what we talk about, transient thoughts, intrusive thoughts, and the ability to thinking. So I have videos that says what is thinking, and then says what is thoughts and where they come from. And these are thoughts that we initiate. We use them for calculation and design and producing and accomplishing our goals and so on. That's a different thing than transient thoughts and intrusive thoughts. They're not the same as the other thoughts. But never thoughts are us. They're tools that we choose them, we use them, and we're supposed to judge them. Thoughts are not judgments. Thoughts are just that, thoughts. You're supposed to judge them, not that when they appear, they're having a message or a judgment, or they describe you, or they decree upon you. No, they're just a production of material process in the brain. Brain is a thought-making manufacturing plant, and it makes thoughts based on what's requested, usually when it's normal. When it goes wacko, it's like a manufacturing plant that I explained in my other videos. You watch the other videos, it explains in detail. I'm just going to make it short here, just refer to it. Like a manufacturing plant assembly line that is producing a product. These are 24/7 being made, these products. But sometimes there's not enough good material that's coming in. The shipping is late, shipments are for raw material are late, they don't get there, or basically some other stuff gets into the raw material that is not supposed to be there. So the assembly line makes that product anyhow because it's going to put them through process and whatever it is and turns them into product. But they're not the same products. Made by the same factory, but they're not the same product. But the difference between the factory and us, our brain, is that in the factory, there are a bunch of people hired to control. It says quality control. They see that the product is there, it's not supposed to be, this doesn't measure up, they reject it. They see it's not a good quality, they throw it out. But in our brain, when it goes wacko and simply conjures up thought based on our fears, which I've discussed that in other videos, based on many things that is not us, even your sexuality, if you're heterosexual, it makes you think you're homosexual, or vice versa. In anything, it's going to interfere with the actuality of you, and there is nobody there to check it. You just believe whatever shows up in your thought because you have been conditioned since childhood that thought helps you to handle life because you've been using it as a tool to figure out things. But these are not the same thoughts. But you make a mistake as soon as a thought shows up, you think it also is the result of your initiation. It's not. That's a different thought. That's intrusive thought, the transient thoughts. And then you don't have any controller or supervisor to look at the quality control of the thought. You just accept it instead of having somebody like that factory to see, oh, that's a reject, that's a no quality, no good quality, throw it out. But you wonder about it. And then plus, when there is a malfunction in the brain, which we all have it, and it's called OCD disease. When you look at the brain scan, when it's healthy and it's not in the OCD mode, you will see a little bit of a activity showing in the red, and the rest of the brain to top of it, frontal cortex, is all blue and calm. When it's in OCD mode, it's got red all over it, overactive, going nuts. Why? Because there's a malfunction in the signaling system that has appeared, which it creates an alert about something that doesn't describe you, and your other parts of your brain, which knows who you are, signals, no, that's not, I'm not interested, that's not me, thank you very much. I got the alert, but that's irrelevant. But it doesn't get to it. So it keeps pushing the same thought, and it keeps answering it, keeps pushing it, keep answering, but it doesn't get the answer. That's why it doesn't shut up. As I mentioned, a simple explanation of it is like, and a friend of yours asks you, do you want tea or coffee? You say, no, thank you. And he's deaf. He says, do you want tea or coffee? He says, no, thank you. He says, do you want tea or coffee? He says, no, because he can't hear your answer. Or it's far away from you and asks you, do you want tea or coffee? He says, no, thank you. And the static is there. It says, you want tea or coffee? He says, no, thank you. You want tea or coffee? Keeps going at it because it can't get your signal, your response back. Same thing with the brain. When the thought appears and it's got nothing to do with you, you have no interest in it, and you respond inwardly, telepathically from inside, you already refuse it, reject it, and give the answer. It doesn't get to it. So the constant thought appears, and you begin to wonder, because you have no quality control check, and it's thought, you see thought has credibility. Thought has no credibility. Thought has no existence. Thought is stupid, and you're not supposed to think thought is your thought. Thought is thought. It's got nothing to do. You're supposed to judge it, see if this thought worth paying any attention to it. And because you've got no one to check it, you just keep wondering about it, and then you start questioning your own self. Oh, why is it constantly showing up? Maybe if it's questioning whatever, it could be questioning your sexuality. And you're heterosexual, it says you're gay. It says you gotta like this, you gotta like that. Oh, that guy, you like it. Because these are negative thoughts to you, intrusive thoughts to you. It's not interesting in you, but it's there because the signal doesn't pass through. And in that mode, it constantly goes in to the point that you say, what is it? And you start questioning it. You shouldn't question it. You simply defend who you are and stay on course and understand these are intrusive thoughts. Plus the OCD has taken over and the signals doesn't go through. That's why they don't shut up. And eventually they do. Once you understand that these are OCD thoughts, intrusive thoughts, and they're thoughts but not your thoughts, and you're supposed to judge them, and every time that if they do come back, you remember these are thoughts, these are not you. You and thoughts are separate, not the same at all. And then you simply choose to not pay attention to them. You focus, you say, okay, thank you, I got it. Yeah, you're alerting me for some danger or something that is not me. Thank you, I got it. But then you continue focus on your daily life. But because you now know this is a malfunction in the signaling system, you won't be bothered. Even if they show up day after day, you just do your thing. You won't be anxious about it because you know it's a crazy part. It's a malfunction. And once you already know that, then it doesn't matter when it shows up. You keep doing your own thing. You recognize it and just move on. Just watch my other videos about this HOCD and you'll be more clear on that. And let's see. We have... Douglas says, I'm here to support, so to be supportive to others. Mehran was there for me when I went through some tough times, and I know what's like. Great, Douglas. Thank you for that. Delighted that you're helping others, and you're here for everyone else. And Hamzi says, that's great. Olin says, unfortunately, I must call it a night. Thank you. I enjoyed listening and learning tonight. Take care, Mehran. Oh, you're quite welcome, Olin. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate it. You're supporting the channel. Matthew says, would you recommend I introduce Jar Jar to my pants. I don't know, Matthew. Do whatever you like. Carpe Diem talks. Zakel says, thank you for everything that you do. You truly set my mind straight by explaining this so well. Please be safe during these times, and Saleh no Mubarak. Oh, thank you very much, dear. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's Equinox, Persian New Year, Nowruz is coming up in a couple of days. And I wish everyone a happy New Year, happy Nowruz, and with wishes of best things, health, and prosperity for all of us around the globe. I also would be time for me to say good night. And thank you very much for all of you to be here. Thank you for your support. Be safe. Take good care of yourselves. And if you've got other questions about intrusive thoughts and on, I've got 4 or 5 videos now on this subject of HOCD and thoughts about that. I also have 6 videos on OCD, regular OCD, not HOCD, and you can see there OCD is just different kinds. They're all about the malfunction of the brain. There's a obsession and there's a compulsion part, and then you get confusion parts. And as long as you understand a thought is not you, you're not your thoughts, your gender has not been given to you by your thoughts, so it cannot be taken away by your thoughts. Doesn't matter how many million times it shows up. Just when you recognize it's a malfunction of the signaling system of the frontal cortex and the rest of the brain that it's connected, supposed to receive the answer, then you'll be fine. You say, okay, the hell with it. I don't care how much it shows up. I am who I am, and I enjoy my life and go about my business. Steven says, I'm glad you went live today. It was perfect timing because of what was on my mind. Good. Delighted that I could be helpful, and I love you all, and thank you very much for being here and letting me to share a thing or two with you guys. I look forward to talk to you again. I'll try to have a live talk, I don't know, maybe every day while things are so quiet and shut down, businesses are not there, so we can always at least have a chat and be here and keep each other company and support each other. All the best, and talk to you soon. In the meantime, be good to yourself, to the others, and I'll talk to you later. Bye for now.